Yeah, hey, drop.
Prime Coverage Sports Network. Real coverage, real conversation.
All right, we are the Primetime College Hoops podcast on the Prime Coverage Sports Network. I am Jim Weglars, aka Wegs. You can follow me at Wegspool on X and on Instagram.
And what's up, man? My name is Casanova. Yes, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, anywhere. Name on Facebook is Kenny Casanova. Follow me on there. And yeah, man, I'm ready to talk some hoops, man.
That's right. Just like this, we got this new banner. It's got our X handles just for you guys at home. Also the PC NS stuff. So we've got might have put that in wrong. PCSN. Anyway, I'll fix that. So Kenny, big weekend, big week. We missed the last week. We kind of had technical difficulties, but we figured things out, which was fine. Did you catch all these games we're talking about? We're going to talk about a lot of games from really the last week and a half or so. So you've been catching up on me?
Yeah, man, it's a lot. I'm kind of glad that we had a little bit of time to really review tape, watch it again, because a lot of these teams, they play a lot. So we got a chance to really get a good eye on a couple of these teams, and I got a lot to say.
That's good. That's good. So I'm going to fix that right now. So let's talk first about last Friday night. We had St. John's take on UConn. You know, UConn's had a lot of hype this year, as you know, they were obviously had a year off. They won a couple titles, had a year off, wasn't so good. And they took on St. John's. St. John's is really the only, Nova's a decent team in the Big East, but St. John's is a real team in the Big East. And they were on a win streak, and they went in and they were at Madison Square Garden, and these guys balled out. I mean, they just took care of business. I don't know if you saw our guy, Zuby Ojefor, this guy, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 blocks. And they were all over UConn and won this game 81-72. What did you think of that game?
So I definitely sat and watched this one because remember I said earlier in the year, I was like, I think UConn could be one of the teams, that could be in the end, I looked at that game and the way it was going, I was like, this kind of feel like a St. John type of game. It gave it pretty early, and I was like, yeah, they're keeping it close. And then normally when a team keeps it close and it's going the way they need it to go, it ends up this way. And it was an upset for me, man. And I was watching. I wasn't shocked by the end result. I was shocked at just how easy it kind of was. I mean, it wasn't really like a struggle type of thing. I thought St. John's put their imprint on the game early, and they just rode it the rest of the way.
Yeah, exactly. They built that lead kind of midway through. It was the kid who was from the Big West or something, one of the guards. He kind of had some big shots late to open it up. But I think their defense, they forced 15 turnovers. They were all over UConn. So UConn has that deliberate offense. It works really well when you're not as pressured. And St. John's took them out of that. They get to play again. So we'll see them again when they play at UConn. So we'll see what happens. Then if we move to Saturday last week, we had just mega games. The first one, and I got to admit, I thought Duke was going to roll up in Chapel Hill, but that was not the case. Duke led early. They were up by 14 at the half, but North Carolina just kind of grinded. They grinded that game down. They played better. They really limited Duke in the paint. As good as Boozer was in the game, they were able to cut into it, and then they basically shut the door at like 2:51 left in the game. Duke didn't score again, and North Carolina, they hit 3 big threes. The last one by Seth Trimble, and that dude was like, I don't know, he was tough, man. He made that big shot with 0.4, and they actually never led it, but the last 0.4 seconds in the game, which is so incredible. So,
yeah, man, my thoughts on this game, man, it was incredible. It's classic UNC Duke. It's one of those things where it's just a rivalry game. And throw the records out the window because that's not going to matter in these games. They're just not going to matter. The records are not going to matter because if you look at them, you'll get distracted. This is a rivalry game. It's going to come down to who has that ball last. Because we've seen on the other side where Duke, Austin Rivers back in the day hit a game-winning shot just like this. It looks like one team is going to take care of business. Then all of a sudden, the other team establishes what it's going to be. And then they take the momentum. And then the other team takes the momentum. And this was just back and forth seesaw. Even though UNC didn't lead till the end, I never felt like UNC was out of the game. I always felt like they were right there. All they needed was what happened at the end.
Yep.
That's it.
I mean, that big man Vesser was making some shots down the stretch, which was good. They were getting inside play, but it just tells you how hard it is to win on the road in college basketball. I mean, as good as Duke is, as good as UConn is, they couldn't get these things done when they were favored in a road matchup.
Correct, man. I think that's going to be very interesting. The good part about the tournament, it's neutral. It is neutral. But to watch these teams go through the struggle, which you need to see it, to be honest with you. You need to see it because we don't want to see a team just roll through the regular season, because we've seen it before with Kentucky when they went 38 and 0 or something like that, and then they ran into Wisconsin.
That's right.
With them losing. All because it's just a lot of pressure when you just roll through the regular season.
Yep.
It's like, nah, you need to go through some struggle so that we can see what you're made of when you bounce back.
That's right. Let's talk about the next game. This was also Saturday. Illinois, my Illini. Not that I went there, but they're local for me. They went to Michigan State. Michigan State had lost a couple in a row. They were on kind of in the ropes in this game. I mean, Wagler played good in this game for Illinois, but Tom Izzo's team, it was really Jeremy Fears. That guy just kind of took over down the stretch in regulation, and then they forced overtime. He had 26 points, 15 rebounds, or 15 assists in this game. He just was unbelievable. And Sparty was able to get the win in overtime, 71-68. I'm sorry. This game was, wrong score. We got 85-82 in overtime. So unbelievable, man. I mean, you knew that Tom Izzo, if I would have told you before the game, I was like, yeah, it's hard to bet against Izzo in this situation, but they were on a swoon, and Jeremy Fears was getting called out for tripping guys and doing dirty plays. But when the chips were down and they needed him in the second half, he got it done versus Illinois.
Yeah, I like this kid. I like this kid here, man. I like that he's fearless. Like I watched him play. He's literally a Tom Izzo type of player. Like fearless. I'm not gonna let you. I don't care what it looked like. I don't care what y'all think on the outside. I'm gonna play my game. I'm gonna be dominant. He was very dominant in this game, man. I mean, he was passing. Like I try to tell people, you can dominate the game in more than one way. Scoring ain't just the only way that you can dominate. He dominated in his playmaking ability. He galvanized his troops, got them on board. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's get this going. Let's go. You can just tell.
When you get 2 feet in the paint, good things happen, Kenny. You get 2 feet, whether it's a shot or you can kick out, find a guy, alley-oops, whatever. He can make it happen. His brother plays in the NBA now, Jeremiah. But those guys must have had some good games in the backyard when they were growing up.
Them games in the backyard make a man out of you.
That's true. No doubt. One game that wasn't as close, but we highlighted it last week before we did our show. We didn't do it, but Houston went to BYU. Houston's a tough team. Kelvin Sampson can really coach, and they got it done. So it was Cougars versus Cougars in this one, but the Houston Cougars came out on top, 77-66. AJ DeBonsa had 28 points in this game, but he was the only one in double figures besides, he was the only one in double figures for BYU. And this Houston team, I think they can. I mean, they were in the title game last year, so obviously know where they're good. But I think they're good again, and they've just been rolling.
Yeah, remember we talked about them when we were breaking down certain teams. We said this is the type of team you got to look out for. You're gonna have to watch out for them because they have that pedigree. They've been there. This is nothing new to them. They expect to be here. See, the expectation was for them to be good like this. And so what they did against BYU was basically say, AJ, we know you're gonna do your thing. Everybody else, no. Sorry.
That's right.
Nobody else. We're not gonna let nobody else do nothing. You're gonna get 28. That's fine.
That's right.
Make sure nobody else getting double figures.
That's right.
So you just watch them lock down on defense, man. It's impressive, man. They're gonna be very tough in March.
Oh yeah, when BYU averages like 86 points a game and they only put up 66, Houston, and that's
Yes.
at home.
Woo.
They can get it done.
Mhm.
Let's talk about maybe not the biggest upset, but one of the big wins over the weekend. It was actually on Monday.
Mhm.
Kansas they hosted Arizona. Arizona was undefeated going to this game. They obviously were full strength. Darren Peterson, who we talked about in the preview a couple weeks ago, he's their star freshman. He's had some big shots, but he didn't even play in this game again. It's kind of crazy. But they still were able to come back, and they trailed by 11 in the second half. But they were able to give Arizona their first loss of the season. I thought the key stat was they got to the foul line in this game. Kansas was 21 of 25, whereas Arizona was 8 of 14. And obviously, the Jayhawks win 82-78. Do you think the Jayhawks are real contenders for the title?
I have to say yes. I have to say yes because not only do they have an excellent, fabulous freshman, but they know how to play without him. I always think that's a big thing because there could be a game where he's not on. He's not. He's not giving you what he normally does. Can you sustain him? Can you make up for it in other areas? And I'm watching them play, and they can. They can because if you remember in the BYU game, he sat out in the second half, and they kept the wave going against them. They kept the wave going against BYU. And in this game, they didn't have him the whole game. And they said, "We got it. We got it. You rest. We got it." I'm just wondering what's going on with him. Though. I'm getting a little concerned about that.
I am
because it's just like it seems like the injuries just piling up, and you never want to see that.
Yeah, I think part of it. I mean, we may have talked about this 2 weeks ago. He's likely the number one pick, him or DeBonsa. They're going to get money. They don't want to basically the mandate from his family and everything, and maybe he has an agent involved. I'm not sure if that's allowed anymore, but the bottom line is he doesn't want to injure his draft stock, and I totally appreciate that. If this was 3, 4, 5 years ago, he'd definitely be playing more. I think that he's cramping and he's got some ankles. They do want him to be healthy for next month because in March, it's 6 games and whatever. Yeah. You got to make it happen if they have a chance for the title. I am not. I'll be on record. I've never been a huge Bill Self fan. Ever since he left, he went from Tulsa to Illinois, and he took us to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8, and I was like, I love this guy. And he went to Kansas as soon as he could. I was like, I hate that guy, but I think he's won some titles with Kansas, of course. I think this may be his best coaching effort. I mean, he's got this guy that he clearly thought was going to be at least his second best scorer on his team, and he hasn't played but half the games, and they're still winning big games. I mean, knocking off Arizona. Arizona didn't play slouches in this game. They still scored 78 points, but I think Self is really coaching the hell out of it this year.
Yeah, I agree. I like Bill Self, man. I've always respected his coaching, always, because he's always had Kansas in it. Regardless of what it looks like, Kansas has always been in it. And they always make a deep run. And now they done gave him somebody who they can make a deep run with. And the good part is they can do it without him, which is kind of shocking.
I mean, make him better. Going to make him better next month. Yeah, true.
And he's going to boost him. He's just going to boost him when he comes back.
That's right. The last game I want to talk about from really this week, it's Purdue, who had been struggling. They had lost a couple in a row, and then they did get a win, but they went to Nebraska. Nebraska, remember when they were undefeated 3 weeks ago? And now they've hit the skids a little bit, but Purdue was up big in this game, 40-24 at the half.
Yep.
And then, Nebraska's got some team. They got a team. They're not going to get pushed around, but they were able to dominate the Huskers on the glass 54-37. And they ended up getting forced to overtime in this one, but they did get this big win. Purdue wasn't in question of making the tournament, but it's where their seeding's going to be. Big wins like this on the road to Big Ten go a long way. Maybe it gets up to a 2 seed versus a 3 or 4. So I don't know if you caught this game, but they won 80-77. I like the way Purdue played this one.
I did. I like the way, because when Purdue got up early, they were able to. I mean, when Purdue got down early, my bad. When they got down early, they were able to continue to stay the course. Just stay the course.
Mhm.
You know, in these rivalry games, it's going to eventually flip. And this is Big Ten. So the Big Ten is the best conference, clearly. It's,
Right.
well, you know what? It could be a debate. It could be a debate with them in the Big 12 for sure. But
Right.
between those two, though, we know that it's a tough conference. So it's going to be a lot of grind them out games, man. These games are going to be played both halves. You can come out,
That's right.
come out in the first half, and in the second half, you can dominate and get yourself back in the game and
Mhm.
win a tough game.
Yeah.
Like they impressed me because
Yeah, we
Nebraska
didn't.
that I looked at, like they're on the
Right.
come up. They look like they're on the come up for sure.
Yeah, they're a good team. I don't know if they're going to make it deep, but
Yeah.
it was kind of like last night. I didn't highlight this game in the write-up, but like last night, I watched, local Northwestern, not too far from where I live in Evanston, took
Mhm.
on Michigan. We're up like 10 points, 11 points in that game, and then Michigan just flipped the script on them. And they're much better than Northwestern, but you've seen that a little bit this year where teams just kind of, it's like a tale of two halves, like come
Yeah.
out one way, come back the other way. I mean, even in the Duke North Carolina game, they were down big, and then they just kind of flipped the script. So they're young kids. They can be emotional. They can lose the momentum, and then it just kind of slips.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, Kenny, let's talk about some kind of the way I kind of changed the podcast from going forward. We're going to talk about risers and fallers, which are teams that we're kind of definitely in the tournament, like bigger names, maybe that people know what they're doing, whether they're, playing on a hot streak or not. And then next we'll talk about kind of just the big level bracketology and the bubble. And then lastly, we'll get into kind of the new games that we'll look at this weekend and early next week. So one of the risers I want to talk about, which is kind of at this point, like, duh, this team's playing great, but it's Florida. Florida, who is the defending champs, they're up to 14 in the AP poll. But if you look at KenPom, which is my Bible in terms of college basketball, they're all the way up to number 5 now. They've won 4 games in a row by the average of like 26 points. They're dominating. Their front court is amazing. They're really on the rise, and I really think they can win the title again. I didn't think that when we started doing research a couple of weeks ago, but now I do. What do you think about Florida, the way they're playing now?
The heart of a champion.
Mm-hmm.
The heart of a champion. I mean, listen, man, these guys, like I said earlier with Houston, been there, done that. Like you said, like these kids are going through a lot of ups and downs emotionally. And so what you're seeing now is a team who is like, all right, let's get it together now. All right, the games is over with. Let's stop playing. Let's assert our dominance. And clearly a conference where we're clearly the best team in.
Yeah, they're the best team.
They're clearly the best team in that conference.
Mm-hmm.
Let's assert our dominance. Let's stop playing with these kids, per se. But I'm saying, like, let's stop playing around. Let's assert our dominance and do what we came here to do, which is defend our title.
That's right. I agree.
I like Florida. I do. I do like Florida.
Yeah, I mean, Todd Golden, I guess, when you lose 3 players, they had 3 guards that they lost last year. Obviously Clayton went to, I think he went to the pros. They had, all these guys come in, Martin, they're gone. So you got the guys who were kind of contributors last year have to step up. They had to figure out their roles. Now, they're not the most guard dominant team. They're more of a forward dominant team. But if those guards can do something, those bigs are just so good. It's going to be tough to beat them maybe until the Final Four. Let's talk about a team that's not as heralded, but I think they should give a little bit more shine, and that's Utah State. Utah State, a little bias on my part. I went to school at Colorado State, so I like the Mountain West. They usually get a couple teams in. This year, Utah State is head and shoulders above everybody else. They're 21-3. They've only lost 3 games all season. They've got this senior MJ Collins and Mason Falsalev, who they average like 34 points together. This team's like top 25 in KenPom. They're a really tough team. And when you beat teams like San Diego State and New Mexico, they beat by like 20 in New Mexico, which that's not a bad basketball team. You got to watch out. I like this team to maybe be a surprise player. Most people don't think about them in a month. They'll be like, Utah State, forget them. But this team's legit good. I don't know if you've gotten to see them play yet, but you should put them on the list.
I might have to put them on the list to watch. I have not seen Utah State yet. I've heard of the school for sure. I just haven't seen them play. But no, if they're on the rise, man, hey, I'm always down to catch a new team, man. For sure.
Yeah.
Always down.
Yeah. Check them out. Put them on the list because, I mean, they play a little later for you in the West or East Coast. You're going to be, they usually start games around your time, maybe 9:30, 10.
I'm
so
a
you'll see it.
So, I'll be up, man. With a Lakers fan, you don't have no choice.
Casanova never sleeps. He never sleeps.
Right.
And then Kansas, we already talked about them. I said that I think he's doing a great job, Bill Self, but it's just, they're just winning big game after big game. They will have more big games ahead, which we'll talk about. But, obviously they're up in the polls at number 9. They're just tough to play. The teams that are falling, we already mentioned them with BYU. They've lost 4 straight now. They did get a win at Baylor this week, so that was a good win. But it's kind of like they're not the upper echelon. I think they had their chance to prove it. They kind of came down. I mean, that's just the life in the Big 12, right? But that'll set them up for the tournament because they're going to be playing all these tough games all the time. They go to the tournament, they'll blow the doors off of people,
Yeah. Yeah, BYU, like I said, man, when we were talking about and laying everything out in the first episode, you're going to start seeing who's who. Okay, this is tier 1 in the Big 12. Yep. I think they're more tier 2 in the Big 12. Like that next wave of teams. But like I said, AJ, if you got somebody like him on your team,
the bouncer can do it.
A chance, always, because he could drop a 40-piece against anybody, and then switch up the whole game when it comes down to March Madness. So, I think they're on the downslide, and that's okay. That's okay. But like you said, it's gonna make them ready for the tournament. So.
That's right.
I'm ready to see what's going to happen next with them.
Sure. Another team that was kind of up there for a while that's kind of fallen is Texas Tech. They've lost some tough ones. I know you love this team. Central Florida, you're rooting those guys on. They're tough at home, Central Florida. They took out Texas Tech, and then they did lose to Kansas last week. We didn't get to talk about it, but Kansas made a big comeback, and that's when Peterson was in the game, hit some big shots. But they got to close February stronger. I mean, it's not that they're going to fall to like a 7 line or something, but they're a team that was talked about in the 2 seed range, 2 to 3. Maybe it could be like 4 or 5 now. But like I said, Big 12, it is tough to win on the road, even at like Central Florida.
Yeah, it's a gauntlet. That's the thing. Yeah, it's a gauntlet. So it's one of those things where if you Texas Tech, you can get 2-3 wins in a row and put yourself right back in that 4-3 line, as far as the tournament. Right. So you can't lose hope, can't lose faith. It's just the life in the Big 12, man. It's going to be tough games. You're going to lose the tough teams. Not necessarily thinking that they're better than you. It just could be their night tonight.
That's right. The last team I want to talk in fallers is the Georgia Bulldogs. We know them for football more than basketball, but they had a really good start to the season. Were kind of everybody's darlings early, but now they've kind of hit the SEC tough road. They've lost 4 or 5. Last night they got blown up by Florida at home, which never helps. I'm sure they're going to bounce back, but they're a team that, like, some people were real excited about them. When I first was looking how high they were, on rankings and stuff, I was kind of shocked. And now they've kind of crashed back to earth. Did you see that at all play? Did you see them play Florida last night at all?
I did watch them against Florida because I wanted to see Florida again. I was like, let me put on this one. Yeah. It's a rivalry in football anyway. Let's see.
That's right.
Basketball. And there was no such of a rivalry because Florida just said, come here. Let's go out back, man. Let's go out back, man. And they just they beat them. They beat them. It was bad. But I mean,
they played terrible in this game. They had some stretches were playing hard, but Florida just, that team, they're tough.
They just look better than everybody in the SEC right now. So.
They are. They're better. Well, let's talk a little bit about the bracketology. So I'm just going to highlight Joe Lunardi, a ESPN guy, and we always tease him. He's in the basement, kind of just doing his magic. His last round was on the 10th, so there's maybe some movement when he puts his next one up, probably tomorrow.
Gotcha.
So right now he's got 10 teams from the Big Ten, as you mentioned. There's a ton of teams in the Big Ten, 10 in the SEC, which I kind of question a little bit, but that's fine. ACC has 8. Big 12 has 7, which I think there should be more Big 12 teams.
Mhm.
And then Big East, Mountain West, and West Coast Conference, which is Gonzaga and St. Mary's and Santa Clara, they have 3 as well. So that's kind of the top, and all the other teams are just single bid leagues. And any surprises when you see those numbers up there, Kenny?
Probably 10 in the SEC.
Yeah,
I'm
me
just
too.
looking at the teams. What 10 do you have that's
Right.
like, that's legit? I mean, that's pretty shocking to me, the 10. And then only 7 in the Big 12 when we talked about probably 7 teams from the Big
I
12
know.
in the top 25.
I know. I would love to see them. They used to do like an SEC Big 12 Classic where they had teams cross and play each other like about this time of year.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think the Big 12 is better. SEC, teams like Texas are always on the bubble.
Yeah.
We talked about Georgia. Vanderbilt's had a very good year this year, which is a little surprising. You wouldn't think that.
Mhm.
Texas A&M's had a good year. So there are some teams that we haven't talked about yet. Maybe we will in future episodes. But I do agree. I think that number will probably come down a little bit, and then
Yeah.
Big 12 will sneak up a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking for sure.
So in Lenardi's last 4 buys, he's got these teams. So these teams are kind of safely in the tournament, more or less. So he kind of breaks it down like first 4 buys, last 4 in, first 4 out. He does do last 4, like next 4 out. I don't cover that right now on this podcast, but so the first 4, they're kind of safe right now still. St. Mary's, we talked about them in the West Coast Conference. They're actually playing really well. Randy Bennett is the coach there. He really always has that team on the verge. They're not as good as they've been in past years, but they're starting to play better. We just mentioned Georgia. I don't know. I think they're going to fall to that last 4 in. I mean, they've lost 4 or 5 in the SEC. Like, come on, dude.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah,
Unless they win in the tournament or something like that, SEC tournament or something
I
like
know.
that. I could
Exactly.
fall out of it.
Then we've got UCLA and USC from the Big Ten. They're safely in. What I note about the Bruins, UCLA, is they barely win when they come east. Like they're really a tough team when they play at home or they play on the West Coast, and then they come across Mick Cronin, their coach, who I do love him, but he gets all salty. He's like, I got to travel all the way to Maryland or something. He's always complaining about the travel. Whereas USC actually has played really well. They lost last night, but they've been very competitive this year, even when they go east. So any of these 4 teams, we've already kind of talked about Georgia. Any of these teams do you like, or you think, yeah, these guys are definitely tournament teams?
USC. I like USC. I do. I'm watching them. They got a spectacular freshman too. He was just hurt, in the beginning of the year. Elijah Arenas, Gilbert Arenas' son. I watched him play. He got game.
He can ball.
He got game. I was like, because I just wanted to see like how was he going to look, after being out with the layoff so long.
Yeah.
He picked it right back up. He's like, I'm ready to go. He had a game winning shot, I want to say, the other day. And I just watched him play. He plays in control.
Yeah.
He's not scared of the moment. I noticed that about him. His dad wasn't. That's a natural reaction. So
sure.
I like USC.
Yeah, USC. I disagree. I agree with you. Actually, this is 16. They were 16-6 going to last night. They're playing good ball. They're not getting as much, fanfare as some of the other teams in the Big Ten because obviously, they've all over the top 10. But I think they could be dangerous in about a month. They can win a game or 2. So I like what you're thinking there.
Yeah.
The next 4 in, we've got New Mexico. We just mentioned them a little bit. San Diego State. Those are 2 Mountain West teams. Miami and the ACC, who got this. It was so funny. North Carolina, on top of the world. We beat Duke. Then they go to Miami and lose.
Oh, man.
So that win helps them out a little bit. And then I just mentioned Texas. So Texas is a team that's a little bit dangerous. I like them better than a couple other teams we'll talk about in a second. But like they're constant. Every year this team's on the bubble, dude. Every year I talk about Texas. Like every game matters. Like, who are they going to win? Are they in the bubble? They're always like in that. Are they on the 10 line in the bracket? So right now he's got them in, but if they lose a game or two in a row, then they're bouncing right back out.
Yeah, that Miami team, man. Because I had a feeling. I said UNC put all their marbles into that Duke game, all their heart. Watch, it's time for a letdown. It always happens. And right on schedule, Miami said, "Gotcha" at the right time. Because I'm watching.
You know those guys were out on Franklin Street on Saturday night partying their brains out after that shot. So
already know it. It was an open bar all night for them, man. They had good time partying.
That's right. That's right.
Get back in the mode. It's basketball season, man.
Yeah. But Miami's not a bad squad. Traditionally, San Diego State is one of those teams. It's not the same, but Brian Dutcher, the coach, he used to be under, Michigan guy way back, and he came over. This dude just coaches defense. Mm-hmm. If they can score like 70 points a game, they'll win every time. It's just sometimes they really struggle in the half court. Yeah. They just grind you. They grind you. They play tough defense. So I love seeing them in the tournament because they're always going to be an under. Like, it's going to be a tough game. New Mexico, I thought they're going to be better. Like, I watched that game against Utah State, and I'm like, ooh, and I think Utah State was up by like 3 or 4 at the half, and they just blew the doors off in the second half. And so they'll still be in, but they're one of those teams. They're going to be bubble. They're going to be bubble like Texas every week. They're going to be, where are they going to be? And they have to win games in the Mountain West tournament to make it in.
Yeah, definitely. San Diego State was the one that I always catch them in the tournament. I'd be like,
yes,
same again. Like San Diego State stay in the tournament.
Yeah, Aztecs, man.
Yeah, them in Texas.
That's right. So then the first 4 out, we've got Ohio State, although, they did just get a good win. But they've been kind of, they need to win 3 of the next 5 for me to put them in myself. I know Lenardi will. They play an interesting game this weekend. They play against Virginia. So that's a crossover game with the ACC. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of run this gauntlet where they play Wisconsin at home, at Michigan State, at Iowa, and then Purdue. So it's like, woof, those are some tough games. If they win 3 out of those 5, then I think they'll be safely in. But if they've just kind of been floating on the surface and dipping once in a while.
I can see 1 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
I can really see 1 and 4 for sure. I'm looking at. I'm just like, I don't know, man. This is the Big Ten is just a gauntlet, though. Like you said, man.
Brutal.
It's brutal. I mean, that's back to back to back. There's no let up game right there. There's not like okay, let's throw this team in there, man. Maybe we can squeak by. There's no squeak by games no more.
Right. Yeah, they already got to play the Marylands and stuff like that already. Yeah. Now they got to play the tough guys.
Yes. Yeah.
Another team that kind of is on the out. I think they're going to make it in now because last night they beat Clemson on the road, and Clemson was a top 20 team in the AP, not necessarily KenPom. So Virginia Tech is they can't get a lot of quality wins in the ACC, but they did get this Clemson win. So I won't be surprised if they're like in the last 4 in on the next sheet, probably tomorrow or Saturday morning. So I haven't seen them play a lot, but they obviously had a big win against Clemson. And then the other couple teams, Cal's just one of these ACC teams. Look, dude, I'd rather take a New Mexico, which of course he's got them in. I'd rather take a team that's is Cal any good? I haven't seen him play. I'll see him at some point, so I'll tell you if they're any good. But how many 8 ACC teams? Come on, dude. No way. They're not going to take a 9th one, or even Virginia Tech would be 10. Like, forget it.
Yeah, no.
Did you see any of these teams? Did you see Virginia Tech or Cal play?
I actually have not. Now, I will make it my business to watch Virginia Tech play because after they beat Clemson, now you got my attention. On the road, right. You got my attention now. Like some of these teams, they don't garnish my attention like Cal.
Right.
I thought y'all was a football school.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Blacksburg. And then the last team is Missouri. They're in the SEC. They don't have a great resume, but they do, it has Texas, Vandy, Arkansas, and Tennessee in their next 4 games. So show me something, Missouri Tigers. If you guys want to be in this tournament, you've got to probably win at least 2 of those games. You know, we talk about Texas as that quintessential bubble team, but Vandy's good this year. Arkansas is very good, and then if Tennessee keeps winning, so you win two or three of these games, you'll move up the standings, and then maybe they'll get another ACC team.
Definitely. Missouri, they got opportunity, man. Like all these teams, if you look at their schedule, it's opportunity for growth, man. It's opportunity to really stamp your ticket so that you're not a bubble team going into the tournament needing to win 3-4 games, and you don't want that team that has to go. Man, I got to kind of make a run in the, in the championship week to get in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they're going to end up playing another team that needs to do that. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like that's that scene in The Dark Knight when the Joker breaks the pool cue, throws it down. He's like, okay, tryouts. You know, that's what it's going to be in these conference tournaments and some of these spots.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about who you got this weekend, Kenny. First game is going to be Clemson. We just talked about them losing at home, but they're going to go to Duke now. Duke didn't play great in their game this week, but they're going to be at home this time. I'm estimating them to be about an 8-point favorite at home. They're going to be a heavy favorite, 150.5 point total. This is Saturday, all Valentine's Day. Mr. Casanova, I know you got plans on Valentine's Day, but let's watch some games at 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. noon. So obviously, who you got in this one? Duke or Clemson?
Well, I think Clemson's a tough team. I do. I actually have watched them play this year. And I watched Duke play this past week. They play with their food a little bit, but it was on the road, so I'm going to give them a little bit of a pass. They end up taking care of business anyway. But I do think they take care of business in front of the Crazies at home. I think it's going to be an electric environment, and I think they go ahead and dispose of Clemson. I don't think it's going to be – it might not even be close, this one. This might get out of hand.
Yeah, I think it might be get out of hand. To me, it's like – I know it's early in the morning, so it's like morning, first game of the day, but Duke is going to be showing something. I mean, like you said, they play with their food. They probably had 2 tough practices now because, hey, you lost the game on the road. You didn't play good. Clemson's coming to town. Let's pound this team. So I do think Duke's going to win big in this one for sure. What about this game? We're going, Big 12. We talked about these games never end. You got Kansas, 9th ranked at 5th ranked Iowa State. This is a great basketball game. This one's at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern time on ABC. I'm estimating about a 2-point favorite for Iowa State. These teams are very close, 146.5 point total. So you think Kansas can go on the road and beat this Iowa State team, even though that's a good ball club?
You know what? This was one of them where I looked at it and I was like, I want to pick Kansas. I do.
I know.
I think Iowa State might beat them. I think this might be the one where it's like, all right, hold on. I got a lot of momentum going, but this is ours. I think this might be one of the cases where I think home court may play an advantage in this one. I do. Yes. I think it will be a major factor in this game. I think Iowa State wins this game. But I think it's going to be close, though. It could go either way.
Yeah, it's going to be close. I mean, I'd love to know if Darren Peterson's going to play. That'd be nice to figure this out. What's
going to happen with him? Yeah.
Right. I think you're right. I think Iowa State's going to win this basketball game. Kansas is not going to win every game. They've won a few in a row. They're playing really well. I love to see that. But I think we talk about them as maybe being title contenders. But Iowa State's a legit team at home. They know that what's on the line. I like Iowa State in this one too. 2.5. I'd probably lay that too. If Darren Peterson's plays, maybe I change my mind. But again, he's got to play the full game. He's played a lot of games where he doesn't come through all the way. If Kansas wins this one, Kenny, you better start betting on them for the championship, dude, because this is a huge game.
If they win this game, then I'm just gonna shut up. I'm rolling with them. When I fill out my bracket, they'll be in there. Don't worry.
Yeah, Rock Chalk Jayhawk,
Right.
Okay. Speaking of the champs, we've got Kentucky, the 25th ranked Kentucky Wildcats, going to the Gators, number 14 Gators. This is Saturday at 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. I think the Gators are going to be a healthy favorite, even though Kentucky's been playing pretty well as well. I think this total's a little higher, 164.5. Do the Gators stub their toe? Does Kentucky come in and shock them? Or is this just another gator bait situation where they just kind of eat them and win by 20.
I think they win by 20.
I do too.
I do. I think Florida right now, like I said, they was playing early. They say, you know what? Oh yeah, we are the champs. Oh yeah, we just won it last. Okay, come on, let's go. And I do think, like you said, the only thing that worries me about them is guard play. I told you, you gotta have guard play for me to be on your side. But it's the SEC. It's their conference. They're clearly the better team to me going into this one. They're on a hot streak, and I think the hot streak continues. I do.
Yeah. It's a rivalry game in basketball. Florida's going to play their best game. It's just Kentucky. I think what Kentucky's got to do is slow down the tempo. You got to try to slow down Florida, make them play in the half court, make the guards handle the basketball, grind them to a halt. So, if you're Kentucky, you're not trying to run with these guys because it's over. It's night, So I do think Florida's going to win big. I'd lay this number as well. I hate picking all favorites, Kenny, but right now that's where I'm going. Let's go to the next game. This is at 5:30 p.m. Central, 6:30 Eastern. Number 16, Texas Tech. We talked about them being a downer, but Arizona coming off their first loss at home. They won't be the 1 seed when they do these polls again next week. They're probably about a 5.5, 6.5 point favorite at home, 154 point total. Do you think Arizona gets back on track, or do you think Texas Tech can grind them like they've done in other games on this game on ESPN?
Now here's where I don't think I'm gonna pick the favorite in this one. I think this might be my upset. I think this might be my upset of the weekend.
Ooh, I like it.
I'm gonna roll with it. I have a feeling Texas Tech, like you said, grind. I think that's what it's gonna be. I think Arizona now has shown they're not unbeatable. They can be beaten. I do think that this is good for them. Yep, now it's time to go into the Big 12, and here's a grind them out team that's coming in that needs to win. Texas Tech needs this bad. And I think they're going to play with a sense of desperation. I do. I think they're going to play their on-brand ball. And I think they're going to grind it. I think the game it's probably going to be like 64-60. It's going to be somewhere around there, in the 50s or something like that. But I do think Texas Tech goes on the road. I'm saying it here. Goes on the road and takes care of business and beat Arizona.
We love our viewers and listeners. So thanks for chiming in there. Sleeper Sport Media. So I hear what you're saying. It's a tough one. Oftentimes when teams win 20, 22 games in a row, when they lose one, they lose two, right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like they just kind of broken. Like finally they kind of got broken. They let up and then they pick it up. I do think you're right. It's good for them to not have that situation like on their back that they're going to go undefeated this whole season, because then you can kind of just play clean. So I don't know, like, to me, I'd probably roll with Arizona to win. I don't think I would lay all those points, though. That's too many points for me. And Texas Tech does have some ballers. They've got some guys who could play in that game. The thing about Texas Tech is their depth isn't great. Mm-hmm. That's my only concern about them winning this game outright, because Arizona has a lot of dudes. Mm-hmm. But I do think you're on the right track. I think it's going to be a heck of a game, and Texas Tech is going to bring everything into this game because they got to win this one.
Yeah, they need it for sure.
All right, let's go to a Monday game that I highlighted. Again, this Big 12 don't quit. Houston, the third ranked, they'll probably move up a little bit against Iowa State. Poor Iowa State. You got to play Kansas, and then 2 days later you got to play Houston. At least you're playing them at home, right?
Yeah.
I think Iowa State would be a very short favorite in this one, or it would be flipped. 142.5 point total, a little lower total with the defensive teams. This is what is that? That's at 16th at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Do you think Houston just keeps rolling? These guys have not just won their games, they have covered the last 4 games in a row playing at Iowa State. Do you think the Cyclones can get 2 huge wins this weekend?
I'm rolling with H-Town this time.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, I think I get H-Town in this one. Houston, they seem like they're in a groove right now. They found out They found their identity for this specific team. Because even though, like I said, they take on the identity of their coach, every team is still a little different. And every team doesn't find their identity at the same time. I think they have, though. I think Houston has found their identity. I do think I think Iowa goes 1-1 in these games. I do. If they
Yes.
go 2-0,
Yes.
then we're having the wrong conversation.
I know.
So
I
we're gonna have a
know.
different conversation. But I'm gonna roll with Houston in this one. I do. I think they go on the road and get a big win.
Yeah, we're too like-minded this week, Kenny. We need the
I know,
economy
right?
to kind of change our mind. I agree with you. I think Houston's going to win this game. That they're just playing too well. Iowa State, maybe because their forwards are the strength of their team. Maybe they can grab all those rebounds. Like, the thing about Houston is these teams just barrage the glass. And these guys just grab every rebound. They're scrapping for everything. If they can somehow keep Houston off the glass and make them actually shoot a good percentage in the game, sure, they can win the game. But I think they're going to come out of the Kansas game either low because they got beat or high because they won the game. So I don't like this turnaround for them. It's too quick. Houston's going to be a little fresher. So yeah, I like Houston in that game.
Yeah.
All right, last game. Let's do. This is on Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Central, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Peacock. I don't have Peacock, Kenny, but I'll do what I can to follow it. We've got number 2 Michigan against 13 Purdue. I think Michigan will be a favorite in this game on the road, about 3.5 points. It'll be a high-scoring game, 167.5 point total. Michigan kind of, like you said, played with their food at Northwestern. Purdue got the win. You think Purdue can steal another one and knock down Michigan a peg, or do you think Michigan's got it on the road?
This is a really tough game right here. I don't know if people looking at it as such, but Purdue's a really good team. They really are. They're at home. I think Michigan right now, man. I think Michigan right now, like I said, they're finding their identity. They're in a groove right now. I mean, I think they just put up 101 points the other night?
They did put up 100 in one of those games.
Oh,
they beat somebody badly.
I got Michigan for sure in this one. That's offensively, man. Like, what are you gonna do? I mean, how are you gonna slow them down? That's what I'm wondering about with Purdue. How do you even slow these guys down? Because I promise you, let them get out to a big lead, and you won't be coming back in this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Purdue can stroke the ball. They can shoot it. And that's probably, even last night when they played Northwestern, they were breaking pressure and scoring. So I think they can score with Michigan. The problem is those bigs for Michigan. I mean, I kind of get annoyed. It's like they bring in that Mara guy who's like, 7 feet. His arms are so long, Kenny. Like, it's like his arms, like the length of this table. The dude just doesn't have to jump to get rebounds. And then they take him out, and they get another guy who's like 6'9". I mean, it's just, they're going to wear down Purdue at some point. I don't know. I hate taking off favorites. I think Michigan's going to beat Purdue. But I'm hoping they lose. Like, it's like, I'm not sold that Michigan can win the title yet. Like, all these teams, I'm watching them. I'm like, can they win? Like Duke, after them blowing the lead, I'm like, they're out. UConn, they're out. But it's tough to win on the road in any league. And winning on the road at Purdue, that's a tough one. But, yeah, I hear you. I think Michigan's a better basketball team, but I'm excited to see that basketball game.
Yeah, me too, man. I think Michigan, though, I don't like I told you, in the tournament, I just don't like picking teams that got a bunch of bigs because I think if it was like in the NBA, a series, so you can wear a team down with height in a series.
Yes.
These are just one-offs. That's why I like guards in one-off games, because it's kind of like, all I got to do is go crazy this game, and I can get them up out of here. So I don't trust them in the tournament, but I trust them in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
I trust them in the I do.
Yeah, they're really good. We talk about, maybe we'll add like title roundup at the end here, but when I start watching these teams, like I'm like starting to think, okay, Arizona, I still think they're really good. I mean, they lost, but they're going to be really good. They got guards, they got bigs, and they're good. You've got, obviously, Duke is in the mix there. Michigan's in the mix. Like you said, Florida, if they can get any more guard play, they're going to be right there. I just look for those teams that, do they have enough guard play to get them over the top? Because, like you said, I don't think you can win with 3 6'9" guys on the team. You need a couple of guys that can, like a Jeremy Thiersia, can just take over a game with their hands. But we'll see. Well, what you got going this weekend, Kenny? I mean, I'm not trying to get into your personal life, but it is Valentine's Day. Your name's Casanova. I'm trying to do 1 + 1 = 2. You got something going on?
1 + 1 definitely equals 2. I am definitely will be celebrating. Got some big things on the horizon for that, man.
Good.
Yeah. Outside of that, got this Renegade Rundown podcast.
That's right.
Will be shot shortly after this. We double booked, so we are prepared and ready to do that right after.
Nice.
And watching some college basketball.
That's right.
I'm excited about it because now I got some new teams. Utah State. I have to check them out.
Got to see Utah State.
So yeah, man. I got a new nickname for Wags. I'm going to debut. I call him Mr. Moneyline. That is Mr. Moneyline.
Mr. Moneyline.
I'm talking to Mr. Moneyline right there. That is his nickname. And our boy ain't on today, the con man, but I call him the Oracle now. So
the Oracle.
Yes. So we got nicknames on this show now. So now we all will be.
I like it. We're filled to the rim there. Oracle, the Oracle can join us next week.
Right? Yeah, we definitely gonna need the Oracle on for sure. We miss you, buddy.
Yeah, for me, I don't have any special lady in my life, so I am going to be going out. I jokingly put together something called Palentine's Day, just the pals, just the fellas going out. But we are going to go check out some Samba night or something. That'll be fun.
Do something,
Saturday night, and then I'm supposed to go out tonight, meet some people, get some drinks. But I definitely will be watching some of these games, which is the most important thing. So, and check out the banner here. You can check us out on our social media. We got PCSN Media at Wegspool, and then Kenny. I don't know; those are a lot of numbers.
I let X pick my name one time, and I just.
I got you. Yeah, and then follow us on Instagram as well. So, thanks everybody for joining us. It was a great time. We'll be hopefully same bad time, same bad channel in a week. Trying to get consistency. Checking out these games, and we've only got 5 weeks till the tournament starts, Kenny. We got to give people some information so we can get their brackets in,
Yes, definitely. I'll be filling out my bracket with watching film.
That's right. No, that's the way to do it. Yes. So, all right, everybody, have a great weekend. Take care.
Yeah, hey, drop.
Prime Coverage Sports Network. Real coverage, real conversation.